Helix Cipher. Prologue, The Birth of Omega Drive. Emil Hoffman's hands trembled as he inputted the final sequence. The lab hummed with anticipation, years of work culminating in this moment. Behind him, General Lance Cordova watched with hawkish intensity. "It's done," Hoffman whispered, stepping back from the incubation chamber. Inside, suspended in a pale blue fluid, floated a human form. As they watched, lines of golden light raced beneath its skin, nanites activating, rewriting DNA in real time. The figure's eyes snapped open. Cordova's lips curled into a smile. "Congratulations, Doctor. You've just changed the course of human history." Hoffman nodded, a mix of pride and unease washing over him. Subject AV001 is stable. The fusion of genetic engineering and nanotechnology is successful. Not just successful, Cordova corrected, placing a hand on the chamber. Perfect. The first of many. With this, we'll reshape the world. As the subject, a young woman, began to move, Hoffman couldn't shake a creeping sense of dread. He'd created something miraculous, yes, but in whose hands? And to what end? In that sterile lab, deep beneath the Nevada desert, Project Omega took its first breath. The world would never be the same. The rogue element. Major Aria Vance stood motionless in the shadows of a Zurich alleyway, her nanotech-enhanced vision scanning the busy street. Her target, Dr. Emil Hoffman, the brilliant mind behind Project Omega's genetic breakthroughs. As Aria watched him enter a nondescript building, her earpiece crackled. "Vance, you have green light. Extract Hoffman. Is become a liability." Aria's jaw tightened. This wasn't a simple extraction, it was an assassination order. She'd worked with Hoffman for years. Something felt off. Using her nanotech camouflage, Aria slipped into the building unnoticed. She found Hoffman in his makeshift lab, frantically downloading files. "Emil," Aria said, decloaking. "What's going on?" Hoffman spun, eyes wide. "Aria. Thank God. We've been deceived. Project Omega, it's not what we thought." Before Aria could respond, the windows shattered. Black-clad operatives poured in, their movements unnaturally fast, enhanced soldiers. Aria's training kicked in. She grabbed Hoffman and a data drive, then leapt out the window, her nanotech absorbing the impact 5 stories below. As they fled through the streets, Hoffman gasped, "They're weaponizing the failed experiments. And the nanotech, it's for control, not advancement. We have to stop them." Aria's world tilted. Everything she believed in was a lie. In that moment, Major Aria Vance went rogue. Unraveling the Helix. Over the next months, Aria and Hoffman worked to uncover the full scope of the conspiracy. They discovered a shadow cabal of politicians, military leaders, and corporate moguls behind Project Omega. The plan: use bioweapons created from failed genetic experiments to destabilize governments, then deploy nanotech-enhanced operatives to restore order, effectively taking control of key nations. Aria's unique combination of genetic enhancements and nanotech made her invaluable. She could infiltrate secure facilities, hack systems with a thought, and fight her way out if needed. But each mission took its toll. She struggled with using abilities she now saw as morally tainted. Their efforts gained them allies: Dr. Lyra Chen, a nanotech specialist horrified by the weaponization of her work; Marcus Brandt, a journalist determined to expose the truth; and Zane, another enhanced operative who defected after learning the truth. But for every ally gained, the noose tightened. General Lance Cordova, Aria's former mentor and the true mastermind behind the conspiracy, always seemed one step ahead. The Summit Gambit. Intelligence revealed the Cabal's endgame. They planned to release a tailored bioweapon at the upcoming G20 summit in Singapore, followed by a nanotech-laced cure. This would allow them to secretly infect world leaders with control nanites. Aria and her team hatched a desperate plan. While Hoffman and Chen worked on a counter to the bioweapon, Aria, Zane, and Marcus would infiltrate the summit. Their goals: prevent the bioweapon's release, expose the conspiracy, and confront Cordova. The night of the summit arrived. Aria, her nanotech disguising her as a server, moved through the glittering crowd of dignitaries. Zane, posing as security, kept watch. Marcus, in the press pool, prepared to broadcast the truth globally. Everything went sideways when Aria spotted Cordova. Their eyes met, and she knew her cover was blown. As chaos erupted, Aria fought her way through waves of enhanced security, her nanotech and training pushed to the limit. She cornered Cordova in a secure room. Her former mentor sneered, "You could have been a god among insects, Aria. Instead, you choose extinction." "No," Aria replied. "I choose humanity." Their battle was fierce, 2 apex predators enhanced beyond human limits. In the end, Aria's conviction proved stronger than Cordova's ambition. As he lay defeated, Cordova pressed a dead man's switch, releasing the bioweapon into the summit's ventilation. Helix rewritten. Aria raced against time, fighting through the effects of the bioweapon. Her nanotech worked overtime, barely keeping her alive. She reached the central air system, where Hoffman waited with the counter-agent. As Aria's vision blurred, she released the cure, collapsing as it spread through the building. She awoke days later. The conspiracy had been exposed. Cordova and his cabal were in custody. Project Omega was shut down. But the genie was out of the bottle. The world now knew about genetic enhancements and nanotech. In the aftermath, Aria testified before the UN, advocating for strict regulations on human enhancement technologies. She and her team formed a watchdog organization, dedicated to ensuring these powerful tools would be used ethically. Aria still grappled with her own enhancements, but she had found purpose. As she told reporters, "We stand at a crossroads of human evolution. Our choices now will define the future of our species. We must proceed with caution, wisdom, and above all, our humanity intact." The fight was far from over, but for the first time since that night in Zurich, Aria felt hope for the future. Epilogue: New Horizons. 3 years after the Singapore summit, Aria Vance gazed out over the United Nations Assembly, a sea of faces both enhanced and unmodified before her. "We've come far since Project Omega was exposed," she began. "The Omega Accords have given us a framework for ethical enhancement, but challenges remain." She gestured to the screens behind her, showcasing their progress and ongoing threats. "Our watchdog organization has prevented numerous attempts to misuse this technology. But our true victory lies not in force, but in education and ethical guidance." Aria's eyes met those of her team scattered throughout the audience. Hoffman, Zane, Marcus, each playing a crucial role in this new world. "The definition of human is evolving," she concluded. "But our humanity isn't in our genes or nanites, it's in our choices. As we face this uncertain future, let's ensure those choices reflect the best of who we are, enhanced or not." As applause filled the chamber, Aria allowed herself a moment of hope. The path ahead was complex, but for the first time, humanity was facing its evolving future with eyes wide open. Thanks for watching. If you're ready for more twists, thrills and unforgettable stories, like, share, hit that subscribe button and join me for the next adventure.